And I don't want to be a soldier mama. And I suspect that's a favourite of Shirley Manson from Garbage, who is my guest this evening. We're going to be talking about the wonderful, fabulous, it's fantastic, the album No Gods, No Masters, and other stuff as well. And we should have been talking about the album a wee while ago, but I had a few problems, and Shirley was incredibly patient and waited for the right moment for me to be able to talk to her. So for that, Shirley, I thank you so much.
It's an absolute honour, Janice Long, and I would wait to the end of time for you, as you know.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And you do love that.
True.
You do love that John Lennon track, don't you? I don't want to be a soldier, Mama.
I do love that. I mean, I love everything about John Lennon, to be honest. You could have played anything that he's probably ever written and I'd be a fan of it. But I have for some reason, I have a partiality to that particular track. As I have a partiality to you, because I'm sure you were probably going to mention this, so maybe I'm taking the words out of your mouth. But, you know, I was in a band long before I was ever in Garbage, and you gave us such a break back in the 80s. So you've always had a special place in my heart.
Thank you. I'm glad you remembered, because I always go, I gave them a session when they were Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie.
Yeah, crazy.
You know
it was a thrill, you know.
Oh, I was thinking about you today in terms of, even though we're years apart, but we have similar backgrounds. We went to the same kind of school, government funded, independent grant school. You and I both had Saturday shops. Yours was in Saturday jobs. Yours was in Miss Selfridge, and mine was in Dorothy Perkins.
Oh, no way. Come on, our rival.
And also, we both skipped off, school quite a lot in seniors. So I was going, my goodness, we're so alike. There's all this stuff going on. So it's the 25 years you've been together, and in fact, the 20th anniversary of Beautiful Garbage, which is going to be reissued on the 6th of October. Did you ever see Garbage and, meeting? Did you have to go for an audition or anything? Or was it, an automatic scene that you were going to become involved in?
No, I had to audition. I mean, it was all very odd. I mean, how we came together. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, quite frankly. It's the fact that we're still here more than 25 years later is really surreal and really unexpected. And I don't think anyone, including ourselves, ever imagined that we would still be here making records, and touring the world. It's just wild. So I did audition. It was a disaster. But I think we all knew that we had something our chemistry was always really good. And so when the first audition failed so badly, we all decided we wanted to take another jab at it, and we took another jab at it, and that solidified the deal, so to speak. So chemistry is everything in bands. It means everything.
I'll tell you a secret. My husband auditioned as well.
Amazing. Who's your husband?
Yeah. Well, he's not a musician, Paul Berry. But yeah, he was spotted, and they asked him to go for an audition, and nothing happened. But yes, that's always...
Well, clearly that goes without saying. That's wild. And what do you mean he wasn't a musician?
Well, he was in a band called Duff Love, and, they were doing gigs. And he had this great haircut, very stylish. And somebody spotted him and said, I think you should come along and, do this audition. And he did, and nothing ever came from it.
Oh, wild. Did he go to Madison to audition?
I don't know where.
Wild. I'm really sorry. What's his name?
Oh, you wouldn't know him. Paul Berry. I know him, obviously.
Well, somebody knew him if he auditioned for the band.
We did it
That's
in London,
wild.
the audition. Did it in London.
Right,
there was an American person and, a British person there as well. And he did his stuff, whatever he had to do. Gosh.
This is a wild story. How surreal.
You mentioned Madison there. and I went over to interview the Thompson twins in Madison. And we got caught in a hurricane on the flight from Chicago to Madison. We had to turn back. It's on ley lines, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a wild spot actually, and we've had tornado. It was my first experience of tornadoes and hurricanes, and I couldn't believe it. I felt like I'd landed on Mars. It was crazy because the air goes green, and it's wild. It's a wild spot, you know. It's like crazy in winter and boiling hot in the summer, and it's something.
Creativity, obviously incredibly important, and I don't want to go into it because I'm sure you can't be mad on talking about it. But, you know, you had a great childhood. You really, really did, with your mum and dad, beautiful home, 2 sisters. And then there was just one girl at school that wasn't very nice. I had the same thing. And you called her bluff. You know, you got ready for the fight, but she didn't turn up. Is that where the creativity came from or not?
Ooh. Well, I don't think the creativity came from being bullied, that's for sure. I mean, I did grow up in a very sort of creative family. Like, my mum was a singer and my dad is just this crazy sort of academic who also has an enormous interest in literature and encouraged all his children to read. And he's a bit of a Walter Mitty character. He's got like a wild imagination, and I think that really rubbed off on all 3 of his children, but obviously in particular on me. And, you know, imagination is such a large part of creativity. So I probably have to like lay the blame on my father, as I do many other things.
And God, you know, your family were religious, but you have never been religious. But, you know, whatever anybody else doesn't bother you, does it?
No, I mean, well, to be fair, I was very religious as a child because my dad was my Sunday school teacher. And I also studied religious education at secondary school. So I was big into religion, and I kind of had a relationship with Jesus, you know, when I was young. And then as I got older, I started noticing the hypocrisy that was practiced by people that claimed to have the faith and yet were intolerant, liars, you know, cheaters. I mean, the list is endless. And so I lost my faith, you know, as I moved through my teen years. And so, but, you know, I respect other people's beliefs. I have no interest in bashing anybody else's beliefs, but I certainly don't have anything rooted in organised religion at all. And in point of fact, I think organised religion does a lot of cruel things and gets away with it because people are too scared to challenge religion.
I've had so many people join my career.
Janice, I'm getting a bit heavy on your radio program here.
No, it's fine. So many people during my career who insist on telling me, you know, about their religion. And I have to say, to be honest with you, the ones who've said it have not been very nice.
Interesting.
You know, judgmental and what have you. And you kind of get, whoa, that's not what I thought you should be like at all.
Yeah, weird. But it is so fascinating to hear people talk about their faiths. Yeah, I mean, even if they don't actually put it into practice, it's kind of fascinating.
Now, I would love to play the title track, The Men Who Rule the World. We tried to edit out the expletives, but you've done such a good job on the production, we couldn't flip it, unfortunately. Unfortunately,
that's the greatest.
We can't play it. Adam went, oh no, they're so good, we can't flip it. But that's an interesting opener to an album.
Yeah, we weren't messing around with that, that's for sure. And it's just a call to, it's you know, it's speaking to power and the abuse of power, and I think a lot of people have said, oh, it's so anti-male. I said, it's not anti-male. No. It's anti-power and anti-patriarchy, you know, which is an entirely different thing. And it's just really a begging for more representation in government. Like, I would like to see different ideas and different approaches and philosophies engaged in our well-being as a people and as a planet.
Yeah.
It's a pity you can't play it. That's a great
And
pity.
but it's so good, you know. When I listened to it ages ago, and it opens, and you're like, wow, this is just powerful. This is so brilliant. Will we ever get rid of the patriarchy, do you think?
I think so. I mean, I believe in evolution. You know, I believe that there's a whole generation of young men rising too who've been brought up in a much more open and broad, you know, environment and world order than we ever were. So yeah, I think more and more everyone's looking to each other like, how the hell do we get out of this issue?
Yeah.
Like, you know, with climate change in particular, I think we're all idiots if we're not all listening to each other, like from all walks of life. You know, we really need to be listening to Indigenous peoples and women and gay people and, you know, all different types so that we can figure this out, because this is a serious problem that faces us all and we better figure it out sooner rather than later. Yeah.
And it's interesting, sort of looking back. I was never anything, you know. I was never homophobic. I was never racist. Any of those things that obviously people are learning more and more about at the moment. Do you think it's parents telling their kids, or is it because it's very much high profile at the moment? You know, television campaigns, what have you?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, I think, you know, there's definitely been in America a massive response amongst the conservatives against Obama. So we have seen this shocking, like, change in American politics, which has woken up the rest of the world to this bizarre unrooting of unveiled racism, which I think has shaken us all to like look at colonialism and look at the mistakes made in history. And, you know, we really all have to attend to this problem. This is just, it's diabolical, truly, in the true sense of the word. So, I don't know. There's many reasons for it. I think the internet, thank God, has actually been an incredible tool in showing us. Like, if we hadn't actually all watched what happened to George Floyd, I think there wouldn't have been such a successful uprising but
not the first. Not the first. I mean, no, not the heartbreaking.
But that is the first time a global nation, we've all been forced to look at what we saw. It was appalling, and you couldn't look away from it, and it has unrooted something, thank God, that we're all now continuing to study and question and hopefully change. So I mean, I'm grateful for the internet for that power in messaging is extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, you know, it does play a great part in things. You don't have to go to a library. It's all there at the touch of a button. And talking about evolution, you know, if you look back centuries when women were in charge, and then it, of course, all changed. Then the men become in charge. It's our turn again.
Whoa, hold on a minute, Janice Long. When were women ever in charge?
way back in history.
What imaginary universe is this you're referring to?
It existed, honestly.
When and where? I demand facts to back up these statements.
It is. And women, you know, were going into battle. You know, they were in charge of the villages and what have you. And yes, you know, a completely different place. And then it evolves, and it'll evolve again, and then it'll evolve, and it'll evolve again. I'm going to play some music now. From the album. The first track I'm going to play is Waiting for God. Is there anything you want to say about it, Shirley?
No, not really. I mean, other than I'm very grateful that we were able to put this song on our record, and it was actually written in honour of Trayvon Martin. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I feel like everything is said in the song, you know?
Yeah. Well, pay attention to the lyrics very closely. This is Garbage and Waiting for God.
Waiting for God to show up can't seem to make sense of all of this madness. us, just waiting for God. Keep waiting for God to show up. Oh God, who art in heaven, come. Stand with us. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Oh, so good, so powerful. That's Garbage from the album No Gods, No Masters, and that track, Waiting for God. And my very special guest is Shirley Manson. Something a bit flippant before we carry on. Have you made your annual pilgrimage to the Lobster Shack?
I haven't, because I haven't been home this summer, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah, I missed that. Yeah, it's delicious though if you ever get up around those parts in North Berwick in Scotland.
It sounds lovely and sounds delicious as well. A serious album where you do discuss many things, but it's more opinion than political.
I think so. You know, it's it's my opinion of what I see, you know, and I felt like the Times kind of demanded a serious record. They were serious times that, you know, we were all coming out of. I was living in America under Trump, and I found it somewhat dismaying.
Imagine.
and very difficult to process. And so working on the record with the boys was sort of a therapeutic process for me of working through some of the things that I felt so impotent. You know, I couldn't do anything about it. So it was helpful to get it out on record and made me feel better.
But it must have been quite agonising sitting on a new album.
Yeah, let's face it, these have been agonising times for everyone, no more so for me. But I guess actually the opposite is true. Having the record in the bag just as COVID hit was actually something that sustained me through a year and a half of basically doing nothing. Like I kept on saying, well, at least we have this jewel waiting to emerge at some point, you know, because it was difficult to keep buoyant during these lockdowns. You know, it was hard for all of us.
Incredibly hard, and you know, a lot of people have suffered their lives. You know, it's awful, and you know, still continuing. I was hearing about Scotland earlier and the rise of cases and potentially a lockdown, you know, and people must be going, oh no more, please stop, please stop.
Yeah. I just wish everyone would do their part and get vaccinated, and I'm so sick of hearing people that have no knowledge whatsoever about science or medicine believing that they know more than the experts. It's infuriating, but whatever, you know.
I know. And you get some people who don't respect people wearing masks as well, and you know,
it's insane.
Isn't it?
It's just insane.
I nipped out to the supermarket. Somebody touched me to reach some cheese and then went, oh, sorry. Well, why did you do it in the first place? I get quite aggressive now in the supermarket.
Well, people have gotten really crazy and polarised about it. You know, I get it. It really has been allowed, craziness has been allowed to flourish. I mean, it's common sense, yeah? We're trying to get a hold of a pandemic. Wear a mask. It's not that difficult, people. You live in a society that requires you play your role. You're not living by yourself out in the wild. No. You're living in a society and you benefit from that community. So, sorry, there's a price to pay for that. Get your mask on. Wear
it, undoubtedly, and respect other people who do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Have respect for those people, and you know, don't abuse the situation, because it is incredibly serious that we do all of this. There's no holding back with you, is there?
Not really, but also I just want this to end. It's like, I get it. You don't want to wear a mask. I get it. We all have to do stuff we don't want to do. What is your alternative to stemming this virus that's killing people? You know what I mean? Like, if there was an alternative approach, I'd get it. But there's no other way of dealing with this. So let's do it. Let's just try and get this nipped in the bud, because it's driving us all insane.
Well, I mean, it's just going to go mad if people do go into another lockdown. You can imagine.
Oh, God, yeah.
Everything's been opened up. The festivals have started, nightclubs, and Christmas is in the shops already. People are thinking that, this is all sorted now, but we don't know.
No, I don't think it's sorted by any stretch of the imagination, unfortunately.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah,
let's
move
go off
on.
this subject. We're
Let's
just
move
going to
on.
drive ourselves mad.
Let's have some more music. This city will kill you. This is garbage.
Oh my God.
We were young, on the scene. Life so loud, so much fun. And the party boys in their pretty clothes. Everybody's got it going on. Everybody's got it going on. On the way home, just a score one. In the daytime, in the downtown, and the lights are shining, and the girls are dancing. All the lights are sparkling, and the drugs are working. This city will kill you. This city will kill you. Everybody's praying that it rains, that it rains. It's been promised now for days. The sun is high in the sky again. You go out at night and you nurse your pain. You gotta get out, you gotta get out, you gotta run, gotta quit this town.
gotta get out.
Wow, The City Will Kill You from Garbage. And once you put the album on No Guards, No Masters, you will not take it off for a long time. It's a sheer piece of genius. And Shirley Manson from Garbage joins me as my special guest tonight. You are really into supporting new artists, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think most musicians are, aren't they? I mean...
Yeah,
I guess it's just enthusiasm.
Yeah, there are lots of people, and but they don't realise, that Paul McCartney is always there to give, bands a leg up, and there are many other artists who do the same. I know you like the Estrons.
Yes, we played with the Estrons. They're from Wales, right? From your neck of the woods, people.
Well, I live in Liverpool, but I work for BBC
Yeah, but
Radio
isn't this
Wales.
for BBC Wales?
It is. And what a great station it is. I thoroughly enjoy it. Now, you're going on the road with two very established artists, Alanis Morissette, who I know you know because you've toured with her, and Liz Phair, the excellent Liz Phair, too.
Well, it's actually Cat Power. Liz pulled out in the end.
Right.
And we've got the incredible Sean Marshall.
Go on.
The incredible Sean Marshall of Cat Power, who's just an incredible artist, amazing
brilliant.
singer.
Yeah. And then the UK, Blondie.
Yeah. I mean, what a year, right? What a year we're having. It's crazy. Yeah, what a thrill.
You love Deborah Harry, don't you?
I love them all. To be honest, I love all of them, but I've had the most dealings with Debbie. I've had the most one-on-one with Debbie over the years, and I've known her since, again, as long as I've been a musician, since the 80s, since 83, I think. Me and my first band, Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie, supported her on her solo tour of the UK. So yeah, I've known her a long time. I've got a lot to be grateful to her for.
She's great, and great at doling out advice. She was staying at my friend Alana's place, and we were sitting cross-legged on the floor, the three of us, and she was saying, if you want plastic surgery, the best way to go about it is to have just a little every now and again. And I've never forgotten that as long as I live. I haven't had any. But I thought, well, if I ever do, just a little, and then I'll suddenly start looking like, some weirdo. I'll probably go the whole hog.
Yeah, I mean, Debbie looks so beautiful still.
Oh yeah,
I would probably be a disaster too, but she's so beautiful.
Yeah, you don't need it. You're looking good, girl.
Oh, thank you, Janice.
You do so much, collaborations with the likes of Iggy Pop, Kings of Leon, loads of others, modelling, actor, and now The Jump. Tell us about The Jump.
Oh yeah, my podcast, The Jump, which dropped today, season 3 dropped today, funnily enough. Well, it's a podcast about music and writing and creation, and it was something that came along completely by chance. I was just offered to do it if I wanted to do it, and I did, and it's been such a joy at this point in my life, to be middle-aged, to be a musician who's been playing music now for over 35 years, I think it is, to get an injection of such inspiration and I mean, just it's like going to a masterclass, a music masterclass every week. It's been so inspiring and helpful to me. Like, it's really ignited something in me that was definitely having a hard time manifesting itself. And then doing The Jump, I was just sort of like, it gave me so much. I've loved every single second of it.
So there you are again, being an inspiration to people that watch this and seriously get something out of it.
Well, I hope so. I mean, the guests I've had have just been extraordinary, and you just sit, all you have to do is just sit and listen to these extraordinary musicians, who have these incredible stories to tell. And, I sat down with Patti Smith, who's one of my all-time heroes, but one of the, not just as a musician, but as a figurehead in my life. And, there she is. She's reciting the lyrics to Pissing in a River for the first time since the 1970s. I mean, come on. Or sitting chatting with Run the Jewels and Thundercat and Kelsey Lou, like amazing people with amazing stories, and the great Joe Talbot from Idols.
Oh, fantastic.
Who I think is also from Wales, right?
Yes,
I think
you are right.
Surprised me.
I love him.
I love him.
Absolutely
I love
love
him.
him. Yeah.
I love him more than you do.
No, you don't.
He said an amazing thing to me, and like I don't know why I'm telling this story, because it's kind of the joke's on me, but at the end of interviewing him, as he was leaving, he said, "I just want to tell you, Shirley, it was like really great speaking to you. You know, I grew up listening to you and watching you on TV and hearing you on the radio, and talking to you today was like meeting the Fawns." And I just thought it was I understood exactly what he meant. You know what I'm saying? It endeared him to me so much, you know.
That's terrific.
Yeah,
you know, I've said before that you are an inspiration. There's no doubt about it. One of the greatest women in rock, and that acceptance speech that you made at the NME Awards was just terrific.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you so much.
Did you go into it knowing what you were going to say, or was it completely off the cuff, or what?
I can't remember, to be honest, but I'm sure it was probably off the cuff, because I'm not a great planner.
No.
You know?
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
But it meant a lot to me to get that award from the NME, because I'd grown up watching, you know, reading the pages of that like a maniac.
Oh, definitely. And doing the crossword at the end, Trevor Hungerford. Wow!
Whoa! Like, that's a blast from the past. Holy shit. No, I never did the crossword. I'll be honest with you, I never did the crossword.
But I read it, even though I couldn't play any, instruments. But I even used to read the blinking adverts, you know, bass player wanted. How many instruments do you play?
Well, I play a few, but very badly, like the clarinet and the violin and the piano, all three very badly. And guitar, I guess, too, also badly. So 4 instruments in total badly.
Stop putting yourself down.
I can hold a tune, though, Janice. I can hold a tune.
You certainly can. You reckon anybody can hold a tune? No, they can't.
I do. I actually think they can. If they just had a little confidence and got a little time to practice, I think anyone can hold a tune, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember talking, I don't know whether it was Paul Rodgers or Tom Robinson, saying they teach people how to sing, people who can't. I went, you can't do that. No, we can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Oh, God, who's that song? Yeah, you can. No, you can't. Yeah, you can. I'm only a poor little sparrow. What was that ghastly song? What was that ghastly song?
I don't know.
I'm only a poor little sparrow. It was like some kind of puppet or something. No, I can't. Yes, you can.
Not
it was
Tinker
Orville.
and Tucker. Not Pinky and Perky.
No, it was Orville.
Tinker
Orville,
and
that
Tucker.
weird duck. No, it wasn't
That lamb one. Was it the Ramblers?
Oh my God, this is getting surreal. We're
Ramblers.
rambling.
But that was
No,
the
it wasn't the
puppets.
Ramblers.
On Tis
No, it was Orville, I think.
Oh. I wish I could fly, but I can't.
Way up to the sky, but I can't. You can. Yeah, it was Orville.
Awful, dreadful. I was managed
Horrid.
I was managed by the same manager. I thought, oh, this doesn't bode well.
Oh God.
So what's next? Because you've got this amazing album that people want to see Garbage perform. So that's the next on your list, isn't it?
Yeah, that'll be next year, God willing. If we can get this bloody virus under control, because currently we're on tour only out by the grace of God. We're playing outdoor venues, so it's much safer, for everyone, not just the band and crew, but for the audience too. But I don't know if we'll be able to go out and tour yet until things are safer for everybody. So it's a huge concern. Yeah. So
do people perform in masks? I don't know.
Yeah, some do. Some of Alanis's band are masked up, and I get it. It's still a lot of anxiety, and that I get that. But we're lucky that we're outside. Thank God. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, that's definite plus. But I think anxiety, depression. certain things have really come out of this. And as I keep saying, you have to talk to people, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I've suffered from a little bit of depression myself, but and I know how blessed and lucky I am. I think people are really, really struggling, but at the same time, trying to make this a little more upbeat is that also I know a lot of my friends who've loved, literally, quote unquote, loved lockdown. They've been able to spend time with their families, they've been able to stay at home. But there has been a lot of wreckage, of people with really down on their luck. And it's always best to count your blessings, I guess,
Exactly. And on that note, count your blessings. Let me say thank you so much to the magnificent Shirley Manson. The album is No Gods, No Masters. I'm going to play one more track. Shirley, thank you so much for being patient and waiting for this interview to happen. I kept thinking, oh, not again in the hospital, but no, we can't cancel it again.
Janice. I mean, I know this sounds really cheesy, and you probably don't want to hear it because I can tell that it makes you uncomfortable, but you have done such great service to music and to women in music, and you have been around as long as I can remember, and I'm very grateful. I love you very much. Anytime you want anything, I'm your huckleberry. Thank you for having me on today. I send you so much love and good health, and hopefully we'll speak again sometime soon.
Shirley, thank you. I better go before I cry. This is garbage and a woman destroyed. You take care. Lots of love to you and your hubby. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Lots of love.
Bye-bye. Lots of